All right, it's time for a little Verts NFL Instant reaction. My name is Harrison Graham. George Pickens, no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler. He is now a Dallas Cowboys. Welcome into the show. We're going to break down this trade from both teams' angles, and I think it could be one of those trades where both teams actually feel pretty good about it. We'll go ahead and dive on in here in just a second. But, guys, we are knocking on the door of 10,000 subscribers. You hear that? We're knocking on the door. Let's break in that door. Let's get to 10,000. That's like a huge milestone on YouTube. I appreciate all the 9877 who have already committed to us. And listen, I know a lot of you guys watch the show a lot that haven't subscribed. What can I do to convince you? It's free, no charge. Just gotta click that little button, that subscribe button. Really helps us grow. And if you really want to go above and beyond, turn on those notifications as well. 123 away. I know 123 of you that are watching haven't subbed. If you want free and daily NFL content, we are the channel for you. Okay, here were the trade details. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen, but the Steelers got a third this year. It's honestly more than I thought they'd get for George Pickens. A fifth, I should say a third in the next draft, 2026, a fifth in 2027. George Pickens goes to Dallas, and they get a sixth back as well in the trade. That sixth is actually 2027. They ended up correcting that, but do want to point that out. I understand this trade from both sides, if I'm being completely honest. Like, Pittsburgh, we'll get into it deeper, but like once they traded for DK, kind of felt like this could happen. There's also been character issues there. And then also, from Dallas' standpoint, they've been starving for a number 2 wide receiver all offseason long. I want to save Pittsburgh for a little bit down the line here in the video, so stay tuned for that. Let's get into the Cowboys angle first. We've heard all offseason long that Dallas is trying to get a number 2 receiver. They really like Tet McMillan. They're going to take him at number 12. Well, he didn't fall to number 12. He went number 8 to the Carolina Panthers. They ended up getting Tyler Booker, and for whatever reason, they ended up not getting a receiver in the draft. I don't know if it's based on how the board fell or whatever the case may be, but they've made their intentions clear for a while now that they want to pair somebody up with CeeDee Lamb so they can take some attention off of him and give Dak Prescott a legitimate second option to throw the football to. So now you have a 1-2 punch of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, which from a talent standpoint, that those two can go with just about any 1-2 punch in the NFL. Is it Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? Probably not quite to that level, but it's a formidable 1-2 punch from a football standpoint for this year. But that is the key. This year, George Pickens provides him a number 2. He's in a contract year, which is part of why Pittsburgh traded him, which we'll get to here in a little bit. The question is long-term. What is the play here if you're Dallas? I actually think they have multiple options. If he goes out there, balls out, and they want to pay him, in the 20s to be a number 2, give him the T. Higgins deal, that could happen. I think he would have to show a lot, not only on the field, but that he's a reliable teammate. He shows up on time. Remember, we heard all those leaks and reports throughout last season. He's late to practice. There seems to be attitude and character concerns. That was a thing going all the way back to the draft. So I do think George Pickens has a lot to prove, and it sounds like that's the way he's going to go, because I'm sure Dallas would be open to getting him on like a team-friendly 2 or 3 year extension right now. Like if they could lock him in for like $15 million a year, it's like, yeah, I would take that chance if I was Dallas, even given his red flags. But if you're George Pickens and you go in there and have 1,100 yards, like Clarence Hill is saying he's going to do, cover the Cowboys for a while, says he's not looking to do an extension right now, wants to show he's a top guy this year. Pickens probably looks at this like, hey, if I go out there, put wide receiver 1 numbers, and I'm not a distraction, whether it's Dallas or someone else, someone is going to pay me big money next offseason, at least in the $20 to $25 million range, if not more, if he has a true breakout season when he's already been a productive player. Look, Pickens is risky. He's a risky guy to bring in. There's no doubt. Attitude and effort can kind of wane. It can vary. You turn on film and sometimes he just doesn't want to block. He doesn't run through his route. He gets frustrated if he and the quarterback aren't on the same page, and it can affect his play. We've seen it. I think there's a reason Pittsburgh was open to trading him, because the talent is obvious. He has wide receiver 1 potential, and even if he's not quite fully reached his potential, he's put up big-time numbers. He's basically averaged 900 yards a year through 3 seasons with not exactly stellar QB play and offense in Pittsburgh. Now, Nate Tice, from an schematics and on-field fit standpoint, I think made some good points here. He says Pickens can win on the outside, which frees up CeeDee Lamb to operate from the slot. Pickens also thrives on contested catches on back shoulders and stop routes. Those are routes that Dak Prescott loves to throw, and something that the Cowboys have missed since prime Michael Gallup. I get it. Yeah, I get it too. I get it from he fits what Dak likes to do. I get it from, Philadelphia's kind of running away from us in terms of talent gap. Washington has arrived. The Giants had a pretty good draft. Like, we need more firepower to be competitive, at least this year, if not long term. If you're Jerry Jones, you're not getting any younger. Okay, we'll take a calculated swing. And by the way, if they don't keep him long term, as long as he just doesn't plummet this year as a player, if he's at least an 900-yard guy, they could get a comp third or fourth back next offseason and basically replenish what they just gave up. So I certainly get it. I felt like a third and a fifth, even though you got a sixth back, was slightly high. But if you're playing the comp pick game and you get a third or a fourth back, it's like, okay, even if it is a rental, you're not like breaking the bank for the guy. Even if Pickens wanted a long-term deal, I would probably just play this year out if I'm Dallas. All right, we're bringing you in. We're giving you a chance. Let's see how it goes. Who do you guys think won this trade? If you think it's the Cowboys type C, if you think it's the Steelers type S, said it earlier, I think this could end up being a win-win, but maybe it ends up being a lose-lose. So sometimes a lot of these trades end up kind of just being neither side benefit. Like a lose-lose would look like, well, he's not a great fit. He's a distraction. He's only in Dallas 1 year, and they don't get a great comp pick back. And for the Steelers, the reason it could be a loss as well, regardless of how they feel about him in the building, as we get to Pittsburgh side of things here, this does not help them this year. It just doesn't. Now, the minute they traded for DK Metcalf and paid him, by the way, 5 years, $150 million, first thought I had was they're not paying George Pickens. There's been whispers of they're kind of tired of him in the building. Like I said earlier, the attitude and effort concerns. Is he the guy they want around? I mean, this has kind of become a theme with Steelers wide receivers. Antonio Brown, after a while, just not worth the headache. Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool. Now it's George Pickens. It's like they always get good receivers, but other than AB, who they made work for a while, they don't typically last long because they just don't want to deal with them. And even a guy like Antonio Brown, who was a Hall of Fame level player, eventually they moved on there as well because he was such a headache to deal with. And I think George Pickens, fits into that mold somewhat. I think he, when things are going well and he's getting targets and he's catching deep balls, like he could be a vibes guy, but he can also be kind of annoying and someone that teams don't want to deal with. So I get why Pittsburgh did it, but it objectively does not help them win this year. And when Mike Tomlin's your coach, you're not going to mail it in. Although, hot take coming up, I think they should consider kind of tanking this year. We'll talk about that here in a second. Ian Rappaport threw out there that the Steelers are almost certainly not done at receiver, so they're going to try to go get somebody. I think Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper are the top free agents. Gabe Davis now joins that group. The Jags cut him later today. I will say this, in an Arthur Smith offense where they want to run the ball a lot, you got Caleb Johnson and Warren in there as your 1-2 punch. Gabe Davis is a tremendous blocking receiver, so I could actually see that being a good fit. He's a pretty decent vertical threat, too. Didn't work out in Jacksonville, but 29 career touchdowns. I don't love him as a 2. I think he's more of a 3, but with Calvin Austin still there, I think that could at least be formidable. Romeo Doubs was there for a year with Aaron Rodgers before he moved on to the Jets. There's been some buzz that the Packers are going to pivot off of one of their receivers, so keep an eye on him. And then Allen Lazard, that's already being reported that he could get traded from the Jets to Pittsburgh. He's Rodgers' guy. He's also a tremendous blocking receiver, so if they want to commit to more of kind of a 12 personnel, run the football offense, a guy like Lazard or Gabe Davis could fit that mold as well. Speaking of, what does this mean for Rodgers? Does trading George Pickens, a good weapon regardless of his attitude and long-term fit, does that hurt the pursuit of Aaron Rodgers? Was he informed by Pittsburgh that they were going to make this move? Like, was that discussed? Like, hey, just so you know, we might move off George Pickens after trading for DK. A, did he know? B, did he, not that they need his sign-off, but, like, you just wonder, like, does Rodgers look at this news, whether he knew about it or not, and say, I'm more or less likely to sign there? I would think less, but maybe he didn't want to deal with a guy like George Pickens, and maybe part of the compromise is like, all right, you guys move him. I'm bringing in one of my guys. Let's go trade for Romeo Doubs. Let's go trade for Allen Lazard. So that'll be very interesting to follow. I still think he'll sign there because I think he wants to play football and there really are no other options, but he hasn't signed yet. And until he does, that remains an unknown. Now, one thing that this trade does, even though it doesn't help you this year in terms of getting capital back, one thing it does do is it gives you ammo for next year. Getting a third in next year's draft for George Pickens, it's a pretty good return for a guy who's kind of a pain in the ass. They now have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds next year. So could you just get your guy finally next year, your long-term answer at quarterback? I know they drafted Will Howard this year. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. Okay, hot take alert when it comes to the Steelers trading George Pickens, getting a third-round pick next year and a 5th in the year after that. They now have 12 draft picks in the 2026 NFL Draft, including 5 in the first 3 rounds, 3 third-round picks, plus their own first and a second. Call me crazy. The Steelers have been stuck in the middle for years since the end of the Ben Roethlisberger era. I would start Will Howard the entire season, forget the Aaron Rodgers thing, and just see what happens. Maybe he's a diamond in the rough. Maybe he's your answer. Maybe he shows signs you can build around him moving forward. That's unlikely, but maybe he does. But the more likely scenario is you stink, you kind of bottom out, and you get a top 5 pick next year, or at least top 10, and plenty of ammunition to go get your franchise quarterback finally. No more Band-Aids, no more Kenny Pickett's, Mason Rudolph, Mitch Trubisky, even 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Now, they're never going to do it because Mike Tomlin and TJ Watt and these vets, they're not going to sign up for that. But I actually think for the long-term health of the Steelers, it would actually make sense like, hey, let's just forget this Rodgers pursuit. Let's just go play our rookie 6th rounder, see what happens. We're not good enough to compete with Baltimore or Cincinnati in all likelihood anyway. And then if you want to reset at head coach too next year, you can do that as well. Do I think they'll do it? No. Would I consider it? Absolutely. Okay, what do you guys think? Should the Steelers tank? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. And again, I'm not sitting up here saying, yeah, we're intentionally losing. No, give a full year of Will Howard evaluation. Maybe he surprises you. Maybe he turns into your starter long term. Crazier things have happened. He's played a lot of ball, winning player at Ohio State and at Kansas State. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. I still expect them to try and get Rodgers. I think they're going to go sign or trade for another receiver to replace George Pickens and try to compete this year. But even if they get Rodgers, even if they get Gabe Davis, Keenan Allen, whoever, again, at best, you're probably looking at what you've been, which is a wild card team and likely a first-round exit. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of 4 Verts. Give me your thoughts and takes on this trade down in the comment section below. My name is Harrison Graham. Don't forget to subscribe. We are so close to 10,000 here on the channel.